That's led critics to claim the president or his advisors are walking back the plan to meet with Kim by the month of May, as the prospect of extracting concessions from the North Koreans seems pretty grim. Are the critics wrong? Let's talk about it with former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Fox News contributor John Bolton. Ambassador, great to have you with us.
Glad to be with you.
No doubt there are skeptics about this and wondering why it's coming together so quickly. Tom Nichols, who is a professor at the Navy War College, I believe, he writes this, an opinion piece in the USA Today. He says, Kim and Trump will meet. This is his prediction. Kim's regime will reap hours of footage of an American president shaking the hand of the supreme leader that will run forever in North Korea and go viral around the world. He says later, when talks fail, Kim will blame Trump, leaving the president bewildered and angry. Trump will go back to his insulting ways, which will pave the way for Kim to exit any preliminary agreements. How do you see it playing out?
I don't think it's going to happen anything like that. I mean, I think you have to look at this not based on what people read in the morning newspapers, but on the objective reality of North Korea at the present time. Number one, by all accounts, including top people in our intelligence community, they're very close to achieving a goal they've been after for 25 years or more, which is to be able to deliver thermonuclear warheads on target in the United States. They're very close, and they don't want anything that would interfere with them crossing that finish line. So
why then with the North Koreas, if they're that close, why in the world would they agree to not halt the program, to give it up completely? It just doesn't logically make any sense.
Because they're lying. You know, there's an all-purpose joke here. Question: how do you know that the North Korean regime is lying? Answer: their lips are moving. They're not going to give up achieving this objective. Why would they agree? Why would they propose talks now? Because they want to buy time, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is they need to get across the finish line. I think what Trump did, and it certainly surprised everybody, is foreshorten that period, because I think this is potentially a meeting that begins and ends with the president saying, tell me what you're going to do to denuclearize, and Kim Jong Un saying, well, we'll have talks about this and talks about that. So it could be a long and unproductive meeting, or it could be a short and unproductive meeting. If Kim Jong Un comes in and says, you know, I've seen the error of my ways, I'm going to renounce my leadership in North Korea, go live in a villa on the seashore in China for the rest of my life, and the regime can get on without me, that would be historic, but unlikely.
All right, here is what Senator Marco Rubio, of course, a Republican from Florida, fears is how this is going to play out. His take.
The other thing that might be happening is he's luring us into these negotiations, but then he will make demands that he knows we can never agree to, like the U.S. abandoning South Korea. At that point, he will go to the world and say, look, I've been very reasonable. I met with the president. I've been willing to be flexible, but these guys don't want to deal with me. And that is designed to get the international community to back off of sanctions and not support a unilateral U.S. military action.
Okay, potentially setting himself up to get out of some of those sanctions. He now has video and pictures of him grinning and gripping with President Trump. And now a lot of people think he's going to have the credibility or the authority of having gotten to sit down with a sitting U.S. president. So what's the win in this for our administration?
Well, I think it's only if the president follows through on what he's been saying consistently. It shouldn't surprise anybody that he agreed to meet with Kim Jong Un, whether you like it or not. He's been saying it for a long time. So the question is whether by having this meeting and saying, in effect at the meeting, this is the way I would propose you do it. I'm glad to be here to talk about denuclearization. So tell me what ports American ships should sail into, what airports American cargo planes can land at, so we can load your nuclear weapons program onto those as soon as beginning next week. Now, if Kim thinks that by saying denuclearization, he's saying, well, we'll phase out this and we'll slow down that and we'll do the other thing, that's not denuclearization. This is a substantial change in the way the U.S. has approached this. But as I say, if you look at it as a way to foreshorten the amount of time that we're going to waste in negotiations that will never produce the result we want, which is Kim giving up his nuclear program, I think that's a good thing. I think we've got to focus on the proximity of North Korea to getting deliverable nuclear weapons. It is unacceptable that they reach that point, and rather than have the low-level negotiations rising to the mid-level negotiations, rising to the high-level negotiations, finally rising to a summit meeting, that'll be 2 years from now. They'll have deliverable nuclear weapons. That we cannot allow.
All right, Ambassador, we'll watch this play out. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you.